We started this whole blockchain in mining webinars just over a year ago, when in my enthusiasm to share my excitement of blockchain technology, I reached out to Gustavo, Hamu, who kindly supported me in rounding up the presenters and the audience for our first webinar that took place in September of 2020, right in the middle of all lockdown. And we were very pleasantly surprised by the level of speakers we were able to get for this first event, and also the level of interest. Since then, it then transformed into a series of monthly webinars talking about different companies that work in blockchain and mining space. I am a geologist, Gustavo is a geologist. We both have years of experience in mineral exploration and in mining. And in our work, we deal a lot with data. It was reading the book of big data and understanding the importance of data in our work, in our world, and how all the world is going now digital. And blockchain technology is this, the best tool for managing a digital asset, is what made us so enthusiastic about the technology. And we wanted to bring it to other people in the mining industry, because we want to bring mining industry up to date with what everybody else in the world is doing. It's a transformational technology, blockchain technology. It's not something small. It will really change the way we work. In his book 21st Century, Yuval Harari mentions blockchain 8 times just in the first chapter. And although we see a penetration of blockchain technology into mining, it did not yet reach definitely its full potential, and I'm sure we will be talking about that. So in our first presentations, we constantly had to highlight that blockchain does not equal Bitcoin at the time, and eventually it does not equal digital currencies or cryptocurrencies. As Andy Martin said, blockchain is a governance technology. It's a governance technology for digital assets, and our world is moving digital. So the applications of blockchain in the industry outside of finance are smart contracts, digital certificates, tokens, and of course, cryptocurrencies that can be used, in industry processes as well. And you will see today that some of these are already, happening in the mining industry, but there is still a lot of room to grow. Blockchain started in mining with actually tracing diamonds. Alrosa and De Beers created a program called Tracer that converted their physical diamonds into digital assets, digital certificates that followed diamonds from the mine site all the way through the jeweler to the retailer and to the consumer. And the purpose was to prove to the consumer that these diamonds were not mined illegally or using forced labor or this infamous blood diamonds. Very quickly, the technology spread to cover other minerals such as cobalt and tin, again, to prove that they were not results of a forced labor or child labor. A lot of companies were starting to track cobalt and tin from Congo and just in general, and from Africa and from South America. Gold now, a lot of gold companies are sprung up, startups that track gold from mine to the consumer, again, to prove the ethical origin of gold. And we had several presentations like that during the year. More recent development is blockchain is very heavily used for reporting of environmental, social, and governance parameters in mining. Several of the companies that we had speak to us highlight that importance of blockchain to prove to the final consumer that CO2 emissions or our social criteria are at the highest level. And these are the companies that highlight the ESG aspect on their blockchain platforms. And Rio Tinto is here because on this slide, because they have now a program called START, and this is like a passport for their aluminium products. And in this passport, they state the emissions, the contribution to the community, et cetera, that is linked to this particular, shipment of aluminium. And of course, London Metal Exchange now requires the passports for all the metals, and that is also heavily based on ESG criteria that is attached to mining and processing of the metals. Another big thing in blockchain in mining are sales of metals, specifically of iron ore. All three biggest miners, Rio Tinto, BHP, and Vale, now use blockchain to do contracts with their buyers in China. And we will hear from MineHub, that was a pioneer of this. They presented last year, and we'll hear from them again in October. Very exciting developments, and we hope that it will spread to other metals, of course, as well. And they are supported by various blockchain platforms, by Hyperledger, by Contour, and different companies do it, IBM and Corda and R3. So the big companies, big players there for sales of metals. Tokenization of metals allows companies to get to new investors. It allows more flexibility in sale of their metals, and of course also allows them to track the parameters, the ESG parameters that are connected to this particular shipment of metal. We had an excellent presentation from Nornickel, Atomize, and Global Palladium Fund, and we will hear from them. Their presentation comes right after mine. And again, this is just the beginning. There is way more room to growth there, and we're excited to watch these developments. So, where do we already use blockchain and where we don't use it yet? We have organized a couple of brainstorming sessions with the geologists, with mining engineers, trying to see blockchain from the point of view of the mining company. And what we see, what I already mentioned, supply chain tracking, metal sales, ESG parameters, provenance, things are happening and happening very fast. All the presenters who started with us last September, all these companies have grown, they expanded, some very, very aggressively into geographies, new commodities, new clients, and this is very exciting to see. Where we would like to see more progress is, again, from inside the mining companies. What we're talking about, mining companies want to have tenure security. They want to have additional access to finance. They want better data management. That was my, PEEV team, data management on blockchain. And this is something that we don't see yet happening, and we would like to see the growth and progress in these areas. There are all these challenges that mining industry, of course, faces. We know how difficult our work is and how it is very risky. It takes a long time. A smallest thing can ruin a project. So there are all these challenges that we face, and of course digitization is coming and has been coming and transforms our industry, and this is a necessary step. Of course, blockchain deals with digital data, with digital assets. So I think we are getting there. We are getting away from paper for sure. Blockchain will help us to get rid of unnecessary certification, repeated certification. It will improve our due diligence. It will improve the quality of our due diligence. It will cut costs. It will help us to do smart contracts with our contractors, improve payments, and increase trust. This is what blockchain does. It increases trust between the players, and we are slowly starting to see this happening, but there is a lot of room to grow yet. And again, the focus for us for these webinars is to help the miners to take initiative and to drive blockchain adoption. And here I'll pass on to Gustavo, please.
Thank you, Tanya. Based on the current situation of the blockchain in general, and specifically also in the mining industry, we as a KAMNI Chain team, our main mission is to bring mining companies and the blockchain technology experts together. Historically, mining industry is usually lagging behind in terms of technology adoption and innovation when compared to other industries such as oil and gas or even agriculture. And when we look at the blockchain, we think this is also the case in the mining industry. So our mission is indeed to make this shift faster, such that the mining industry can use and can apply the blockchain technology in the sense that it picks up timely the technology, such as similar to what it's already happening, for example, in the agriculture or in the oil and gas sectors. So based on our experience, as Tanya mentioned, I am a geologist, exploration geologist. I work in many phases of the value chain of the mining industry, Tanya as well. So we do understand when we are talking about resources, porphyry, RC, standard assay samples. And at the same time, we do understand a lot about Python, Cardano, Polkadot, hashes, and proof of stakes, for example. So when you see these two different sort of languages and even cultural behavior that are different between these two industries, we see this huge gap, and our mission is really to bridge this gap. And the way we actually bring this value, it's not only through these webinars. So we help mining companies to assess and to map opportunities for blockchain implementation in any of their value chain phase. So it doesn't matter if we are talking about the finance, exploration, mining, inventory, transportation, or even selling the final goods. So we help the companies to select a suitable solution provider, and together with the mining company and the blockchain provider, we design a solution, and we implement this method in a way that it can be scalable. Interesting enough, we don't only spend our time mapping these opportunities for companies. We also spend a lot of our time organizing these webinars. It's been a year that we are doing this. Over 30 participants already presenting our webinars, big names, small names, names that were small last year and now they are big now. Of course, Tanya and myself, besides also organizing these webinars, specifically Tanya, actually, we also try to expand our actions into different scenarios as well. So, for example, a couple of months ago, we participated in a hackathon from Canada, and actually, we as a team, we won the hackathon, and it was related to offering a blockchain solution to free the valuable certificates from the company storage restrictions and allow for easier transfer between regulators, investors, geologists, and labs. So it was basically proposing the application of blockchain between the network of stakeholders when dealing with laboratory certificates, investors and companies, and the geologists. and bringing a lot of value specifically, especially for example, due diligence actions when investors want to see if that project they are investing it really worth that amount of money. If all that follow-up exploration program was really happened there, and instead of being on hands of or strictly attached to the laboratories such as SGS and ALS, they could access all this information through the blockchain network. And I know that we are passing our time, so just finalizing quickly my part here. If you want to know more information about what we're doing, not only regarding the webinars, but also our current projects, our networks, and who else is part of the KAMNI chain, please just go to kamni.co, and we will find way more information over there. And with this, I think we can start with our first presenter, correct, Tanya?
Yes, thank you very much, Gustavo. Okay, so our first presenter will be